1:45 a.m. on the 30th of January 2014. It's a case of here we go again. We've got a website up here, which I will link to down below. magicseaweed.com is the website. And the image on the left is what happened on Monday the 6th of January this year. I've got plenty of footage up on my page here, going back of the footage I took of the large waves coming in to the coast. That was a deep Atlantic depression back then, and the colouring on this chart here, the brighter the colours, the larger the waves in the ocean. And this large black area here is basically waves that are off the scale. Now here we go again for Saturday the 1st of February, which is coming up in a couple of days' time. Once again, it shows something not quite as serious as what happened on Monday the 6th of January, but serious enough nevertheless. Because I can say in terms of the local area here, damage to the seawall, damage to the car park was caused by this storm here, back on the 6th of January. And a lot of that damage has not yet been repaired. Now we're going to have to batten down the hatches for another one. Surfers itching for another opportunity to see those normally dormant spots lit up by Hercules-esque fire might not have long to wait. In its evolution, Take 2 is a very different storm. But the results, massive swell, gale force winds coupled with huge spring tides, which are coming up again right now, make for a similarly apocalyptic vibe. So there's been some recent active weather here lately. Once again, I have observed ginormous waves rolling in off the ocean, but I got lucky on that occasion a few days ago because it coincided with neap tides, which means that at high water the sea level is much lower than it would be during a spring tide. Both storms offer big black blobs on the swell chart, here and here, just west of the UK, but the differences are worth exploring. Hercules began life on the US east coast, rapidly intensifying as it moved out of Canadian waters, and it grew into a monster spanning the whole North Atlantic. Pushing east at the perfect speed to continue to build energy into the swell, it was characterized not just by huge peak sea heights, but by an incredible peak period and consistent sustained winds. In a similar fashion, this latest storm starts life in the fertile breeding ground of the Gulf of Mexico, on the front between colder northern air and warm air rising over the Gulf. But unlike Hercules, this storm remains unexceptional as it moves on a steady northeasterly track into the middle of the Atlantic, where it then undergoes a similar rapid deepening. Somewhat unusually during this period of explosive cyclogenesis, the storm is forecast to move southeast, bringing the bulk of the swell towards the Bay of Biscay, rather than northern Scotland as may be more typical. So this storm is pushing, you see the differences in the two storms here. This one here, the arrows, and it's sort of, it was a big deep depression all the way across the Atlantic. This storm here is pushing more of the swell down towards the Bay of Biscay. I lost my place now. Where was I? As a result, we see exceptional swell coupled with moderate to gale force westerly winds across Atlantic-facing European coasts. For the United Kingdom, there are again legitimate reasons for concern. Waves forecast to push towards 30 feet at 19 seconds in Cornwall, coupled with 60-mile-an-hour winds. Once again, huge spring tides are a recipe for more incidents of coastal damage and flooding. And as I've mentioned previously, a lot of damage was done with the previous storm at the beginning of this month. And also that storm would have weakened sea defences as well. And are those sea defences going to be able to take another battering like this. Moving further south into Europe, the story remains of winds problematic at times with large swell, although here the differences in power will be felt more keenly. As you can see from the chart above, the extra energy in the Hercules storm maintained the potential for the largest breaking waves right down to the Canaries in North Africa. So the bright colours extending all the way down here. For this new storm, the waves will be impressive here, but not on the scale of the last storm. And there's also a video on this page here, which is pretty awesome stuff. Might be a good idea to mute the audio. This is from Hercules, the storm back on the 6th of January of this year. It was, some surfers tried to have had a go at surfing there. This is normally the kind of stuff that you find off the coast of Hawaii. Goodness sake. Anyway, it's happening again. Well, not exactly the same, but there's no end in sight to the wind and rain, and for as long as this continues to keep going, as soon as the spring tides keep coming around, the issues of coastal flooding and what have you is going to keep cropping up again, and the sea defences are certainly going to be taking quite a battering. So I'll have more updates later, but just wanted to get this quick video out now as a word up that there's more stormy stuff heading for the United Kingdom.